I'm in the chemistry department, so I focus mostly on the engineering students. When I started working at Cooper in 2005, I think 99% of the professors, probably in the engineering school, myself included, kind of did the, write on the blackboard with a white piece of chalk kind of thing, because that's how we were taught and it worked okay, so why not continue the tradition, right? And then I did that for a couple of years, and I remember teaching a class for, I don't know, the third time or the fourth time. Like, why am I rewriting all this? That seems like such a waste of time. And students are just copying what I'm doing. It would be a lot faster, more efficient if I sort of automated this somehow. And so I joined the modern era, I guess, in like, the 2000s and switched to PowerPoint, right? And so then I sort of PowerPointed everything. And I was like, yes, I spent all the time doing this, but now it's done. And I'll make, minor tweaks here and there, but it's sort of taken care of. And then, a whirlwind of things happened. Like I discovered Moodle and Blackboard and things like this. And so that's kind of, sadly, the state of the art at Cooper Union. Chalk, Moodle, PowerPoint. Okay. Fast forward to about a year ago, a little bit less. Cooper Union found out about a grant that was being put forth by Google in conjunction with edX to try to promote STEM initiatives, right? Science, technology, engineering, math. So the idea is to get high school students interested in these fields so they can pursue it. And when they did a survey of the various courses online, they realized, there's a lot of stuff out there, as people can attest to, but maybe not anything that's specifically targeted for the high school students. So Cooper Union was one of, I believe, a dozen or so different institutions that were awarded these grants to basically create courses for high school students. And so I don't know if any of you remember this or sort of blocked it out from when you were in high school, but you can take AP courses, right? Advanced placement. So these are meant to be similar to, comparable to college level courses. And so we actually got 2 grants from Google at Cooper, one to create a computer science course and one to do the chemistry course. And so I can tell you a little bit about both, but since I was more involved with the chemistry course, that's what I'm going to sort of focus on. So this slide I don't really need because you all sort of know, but I thought this was cute. MOOC is also a traditional Korean food made out of sort of like, tofu and some veggies, and so that's not what we're talking about here. Yeah, well, I was gonna say when I Googled MOOC, this was like on page 2, but page 1 was all like massively open online courses. Yeah, and basically the goals of this MOOC that we were creating was try to prepare students to not just take, but hopefully do well on the College Board exam that they're going to be taking. This is a test that they take in May, try to get credit for what they're doing in school. And so the idea is, what if you live in, I don't know, small town in rural Kansas, and, your high school doesn't offer AP, whatever it is, but you want to learn the stuff. It should be rigorous enough to be sort of a standalone course. Or what if you go to, I don't know, a prestigious school in New York City like a Stuyvesant or a Bronx Science, and you're sort of taking these classes, but you want more information, sort of extra help or extra practice. You can log on and sort of learn more through this class. Eventually, try to encourage students to pursue STEM, see that it's actually fun, entertaining, enjoyable, maybe a little bit different from the typical high school experience that they get. And, we're not completely altruistic, try to encourage them to apply to Cooper Union where I work. Okay. So this was kind of painful, but I'm an engineer by training. I have a bachelor's in chemical engineering, then I kind of switched over to the dark side of chemistry. So I like numbers and data and graphs and charts, and so I tried to do kind of a comparison of what I would consider a traditional or brick and mortar class at the high school level and what we're doing here with these MOOCs. And so these numbers are just kind of, I wouldn't say order of magnitude, but a little bit better than order of magnitude, but just kind of approximate values for things. Generally speaking, when you're in high school, you take a class for 45 minutes a day, you meet 5 days a week, semester or the year is 30 weeks long. So you multiply it all out, you get about 112 hours or so of instruction for an individual subject. Okay, our goal was, okay, at least for chemistry, it's like 17, 18 topics, chapters that we kind of have to focus on. We wanted to make video clips that were somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes because, you know, the average high school student has an attention span of about 7 minutes. Okay, and so after that, they just tune out and don't really listen to what you're saying. So we wanted to keep them relatively short and figured, okay, if you do it that way, we need about 6 to 14 segments per topic, 40 hours of finished video, do some labs. The big difference, I think, that's favorable for the MOOC compared to the typical class is in a typical high school setting, you're kind of at the mercy of the teacher, right? He goes slow, you learn slowly. He goes quickly, you better catch up or, you know, kind of drown. Here it's up to you, right? You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can skip, you can play it again, you know, you can watch as many times as you like. And so the pace is really up to the student. And if they're motivated, this is a great advantage. Or if they're struggling, this is a great advantage. We figured we should have some sort of assessment, make sure that they're actually learning something, vary the instructions so rather than just, you know, this all the time. There's some video, there's tablet, there's slides, there's video clips. These numbers are, I guess, old by MOOC standards, but as of a couple days ago, okay, this class is yet to be offered. We're sort of planning to launch in a little bit, I think early May, for the AP Chem, which, by the way, is the first AP Chem MOOC on edX. Okay, so as of January 20th, there were something like 4,000 people enrolled for chemistry, 5,000 for the AP Computer Science class. Here's the breakdown of age. So the median age is 24, which is a little surprising, but not really if you think about it, because some of these people might be high school teachers themselves that want to, you know, use it for their class, or, you know, the adult who's just interested in chemistry for God knows why, but whatever. So a little bit more than half of the students are 25 and under, and then you. This is a chemistry loan. Yep, but the histogram looks similar for CS. Yep. And about 15% are, I guess, what I would call the older folks, although I'm slowly creeping into this category. 15.3% are 41 and over, okay? And there's a tick here at like 75, and so that was pretty impressive. So, you know, all ages are covered. I think it goes down to, well, I'm gonna ignore this like 1-year-old because I don't think that's really, I can tell you, I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they are not gonna be taking AP Chem online, but 11 is pretty good, so I think I see that. Here's the gender breakdown, okay? People always talk about this disparity in male-female ratios in STEM. It's pretty even. I mean, yes, there's slightly more men than women, but something like 40% female. It's pretty good, I think, at least by STEM standards. And this was kind of interesting. What degrees do these people have, right? So self-reported, what's your highest level of education? And so half of them roughly are high schoolers, but the others aren't, right? So some people have college degrees, some people even have doctorates, right? So these are probably the teachers that are gonna be using this in their courses. So I gave this presentation at Cooper Union, and I thought I should try to, you know, balance things out and sort of mention the good and the bad. And so I was reminded of this Clint Eastwood movie. It just kind of rung a bell. And, you know, good news is, as you all know, you can reach a huge audience, right? Talk to students all over the world. Basically, as long as they have an internet connection of some sort, they can watch it. We can talk about STEM and Cooper Union and the world around you and how chemistry is relevant. And you have sort of weird people like me who get excited about sort of blowing things up, and you can watch videos and things like that. So that was exciting. The bad news I think that we have to overcome is I think this low completion rate makes people think, oh, it's not worth it, or, you know, nobody finishes the class, but that doesn't mean that they don't learn anything. It just means that they didn't watch every single thing and get, like, you know, the same effect as if you would have been in a typical setting, but it's not really a fair comparison. I think if you're focusing on knowledge sake, the completion rate is somewhat irrelevant. It's really more about each individual student, what they got out of the course. And then, as Mike will attest to, resources were scarce at Cooper Union to kind of create all this. And so it became kind of a bit of a logistical nightmare to kind of stretch everything out to make it work. You know, we didn't really know what we were doing. Luckily, we had people that did know what they were doing to kind of help us out with this. We quickly discovered that there are silly things like copyright issues that you have to kind of worry about, right? Because what high school class doesn't use a book? And, well, if you want to use the book from the publisher, and there's like pretty much an oligopoly. There's two main books for chemistry. I don't know what the deal is for CS or other fields, but if you're taking AP chemistry, you use this book or you use this book, and that's kind of it. And, you know, they don't want to just give away their content, and so we had to make sure that we had all the right sort of clearances to do all the posting that we wanted to. We also had to get approval from the College Board, right, to call this an AP or AP equivalent thing. Had to go through an audit, and so we're in the process of sort of working this out, especially with the lab components. There's pretty strict, you know, delineations of what you need to do to be considered a legitimate AP class. And we're working on the assessment as well so that students can get some sort of feedback from the instructor. Okay, so that's kind of it. What I thought I would do, if it's okay with everyone, is show you a quick video that I literally got this afternoon from IBL Studios on sort of behind the scenes. And so what I didn't mention is this is new, right? Nobody's done this really at the high school level to create these MOOCs kind of in a short period of time with you know, high quality products. And so the technology that they worked on is pretty revolutionary. And so hopefully this will work. So I guess I'll do the color commentary. All right. So this was filming that we did in a studio in New Jersey, where I'm going over a concept in chemistry that you probably either forgot or don't care about, thermodynamics. Okay, and so I was sort of explaining endothermic and exothermic reactions and how you can sort of tell what they are. And you can sort of see the setup with the multi-cameras and the green screen. So there was basically one camera on me, one camera on an iPad, so I could sort of demonstrate and write things. And we had sort of live shots of the iPad. We also had an app for the iPad called Show Me that would allow you to annotate slides. And so you can actually see the graphic on the screen besides just what's being written down. And this is all real time, basically. So here's the screenshot from the app.
But your comment is how many hours, how many minutes?
Oh, yeah. So just to give you an idea, we probably did something like 7 8 hour days. And out of those 7 8 hours of filming, we probably had something like 2.5 hours of finished product, which I thought was pretty good, because when I went to this edX conference in September, I heard something like, you know, single-digit percentages for, you know, time into total time. And so it's pretty fast. So basically, while they're doing all the processing, I'm getting ready the next PowerPoint presentation or the next Show Me app. And so it was pretty streamlined by the time we were done.